The Synchromystic presents Synchromystique. Neoplatonism is a philosophy. As such, it offers a way of answering some of life's big questions. Who are we? Where did we come from? Why are we here? How should we live? And so on. But let's start with some background. Neo means new. So, Neoplatonism designates the new Platonism. Neoplatonism is thus a form of Platonism, a system of thought and an approach to worldview issues articulated by the Greek philosopher Plato. What makes Neoplatonism different from Platonism is that the former has a decided mystical religious emphasis that wasn't as prominent in Plato himself. Let's try to unpack that. But first, a caveat. Plato's thought is as complex as it has been influential. It can scarcely be summarized in the time we have. We must content ourselves to generalities. Plato placed a lot of importance on differentiating appearance and reality on the one hand, and opinion and knowledge on the other. This dividing of thought and reality, each into two realms, is called dualism. For Plato, what is ultimately real is a hidden world of forms or ideas lying above or beyond the ordinary world that we perceive through our five senses. To truly know anything for sure, as opposed to merely having fallible, ever-changing opinions about it, necessarily requires an apprehension of these transcendental ideas, since only these embody certain, eternal, and unchanging truths. In a sense, Neoplatonists weren't satisfied with this picture. They sought to reconcile these dual aspects of reality and explain everything in terms of one single unifying principle. To bring everything under the same umbrella in this way, these thinkers, starting especially with the 3rd century Hellenist, Plotinus, envisioned Plato's forms as arranged in a hierarchy. For Plotinus's shadowy teacher, see 10 Mystery Men. At the top of this conceptual pyramid is a godlike entity known as the One. For the Neoplatonists, the One is the ground or source of everything that exists, not through conscious acts of creation, as in Christianity, but via a process termed emanation. The One emanated reality, like the sun radiates light. Therefore, matter didn't always exist, as Platonic dualists had believed. This means that, in a sense, everything is made up of the One. Since Neoplatonists explain reality by appealing to a single thing, they are frequently classified as monists rather than dualists. Monism derives from the prefix mono, meaning one. Nevertheless, the Platonic notes are unmistakable. For instance, Neoplatonists assign much greater value to the One than they assign to the everyday material world. This is to say that the One is also the highest good, so much so that a committed Neoplatonist seeks to undo emanation and return to the One. This reverse process highlights both the religious reverence with which Neoplatonists view the One, as well as the contemplative and even magical ways that Neoplatonists imagined would facilitate our return trip. This is what we mean by saying that Neoplatonism inclines toward mysticism. A mystic is a person who seeks some kind of union with the divine. Historically, Neoplatonism, which originated in the Greco-Roman world, formed a bridge between ancient and medieval philosophy. The three main schools were the Plotinian, following Porphyry in his seminal volume The Enneads, a Syrian school started by the magician Iamblichus, and an Athenian school which produced Proclus, author of the Elements of Theology. In its pure ancient form, Neoplatonism ended around the 7th century AD, but in a modified form, it was brought into Christianity at the dawn of the Middle Ages by St. Augustine. A stronger form of Neoplatonism became prominent in later centuries with Pseudo-Dionysius and Meister Eckhart. It likewise showed up in Islam, for example, in people such as Al-Farabi and Avicenna, who mixed it with the philosophy of Aristotle. And it also appeared in Judaism in thinkers such as Avicenna. It was preserved in Byzantium by Michael Psellos and Plato. Neoplatonism was resurrected in the Renaissance and popularized in Italy by Marsilio Ficino and Giovanni Pico della Mirandola. From there, it assumed importance for other thinkers, both in continental Europe and in England, tracing its further far-flung effects, even into the present. And explaining its doctrines more fully is such complicated business that I've devoted an hour-long presentation to the task. So for more information, see Neoplatonism. For the difference between Neoplatonism and allied systems such as Gnosticism and Hermeticism, see 10 Arcane Words.